Hi, hello, and welcome to Five Star Conversations in the Sun City. I am your host, Michelle Emtre Hollis, and we are live and direct. Well, I'm live and direct in this moment right now, but you are probably watching the premiere. However, let's get into the conversation today. What I want to talk to you about is building your business development, creating meaningful relationships in the community. We're also going to talk about the power of voting and how this year, being a voting year, is one that you should be taking maximum advantage of in your community. And we're going to get into why here in just a little bit, and how you can develop relationships through this season and why it's important to do so, especially with all the turmoil that's going on. Listen, we're all worried. We're all a little bit, this political season is going to be crazy. There's a lot going on in the world that's going to impact us and impact our country. Really, 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 really great time for you to. I just realized I was getting hyped. So hopefully, I didn't OD on that and do too much, but I get excited about this because it's so super important. Community is going to be everything. And your focus and your level of deepening your roots and spreading your wings and your reach and your with relationships and people in your local community is going to be the difference between your success or failure as a restaurateur. And that means the whole ecosystem. That means the food suppliers. That means producers locally as you can get is probably the better in this economy. You know, I'm going to talk to you about why you shouldn't be afraid to maybe charge a little bit more as a result. So let's get into it. Okay. And this isn't going to be a long episode. So I want to tell you the power of starting where you are. Okay. And that's as far as business development in your community. The reason that it's powerful is I'm going to use myself as an example here. Okay. I just moved back to my local community. This is El Paso. So if I shared this video with you, it's because you live in El Paso. But anyone can be watching this, but I'm just telling you like my personal story. I just moved back to El Paso in 2019, unsure about what I was going to do with the rest of my life. I was working at PF Chang's, and the reason that that's so important, and that's why I'm so passionate about the restaurant business, because it's such a great way for you to connect into your community and to earn money while you're still developing your people skills. So I have a high respect for the trade, for the hospitality, the trade, and the skill of hospitality. Um, but I was working at PF Chang's, and at that point, I didn't know, like, I had burnt out, I had crashed and burned, and I had come back here to spend time with my mom and to figure out what am I going to do with the rest of my life. But I figured while I'm figuring that out, one thing that I will never regret is coming back to spend time and to redevelop and rekindle and re-strengthen my relationship here at home where I was born with my mother and my family. Best decision I ever made. I don't know how long I'll stay here. I definitely plan on being here and having a home base here, and I didn't plan on staying here for this long. But then COVID happened in 2020, and as I'm sure it happened with you, all my plans changed. But I was able to do some deep healing work. So, but the power of social media, that's my point. Okay. That's what I'm getting at. Is that I had all that going on, just moved back to El Paso from Columbus. Before that, in my professional career, I developed in Lexington, Kentucky. So I knew nobody. I knew no one. I knew no one here in El Paso on a professional level. Nobody. But I did a lot of work. I did a lot of personal work. I did a lot of healing work. And I earned a scholarship into a business accelerator that I was able to do at the end of 2020. Okay, all of these things already, okay, already is because I was showing up online. I was using what I had, which was the same thing I'm using right now. Actually, I had a broke down laptop at the time, but this laptop I'm using now, 3 years old. Okay, I'll probably get a new one soon because it's time for an upgrade. But and I used an old phone. I got this in 2020. This phone that I'm using right now just finally cracked. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. I got this in 2020 and I've been making content on it ever since. But I'm going to fast forward my sad story to explain to you why this matters to you. With my cell phone, my OnePlus that's 3 years old, this is 4 years old, with my OnePlus, this broke down laptop, I have grown my LinkedIn. I have grown my TikTok. I have grown my Instagram. I have created relationships. I have met people locally and developed relationships through the connection of social media. I have utilized social media to continue to develop relationships. That's powerful. People don't realize it's not just about content. It's literally which content, I mean, I'm a natural ham. And you'll find, I'm sure, as being in the culinary arts, by the way, most of your staff is too. Most of your staff is on social media. Why are we not using our staff and giving them an outlet to use their creativity to help promote your restaurant and build your brand? Everyone wins with that, because then the restaurant gets busy, so everyone gets more hours. The servers make more money during their shifts. They want to tell their friends. You attract higher, bigger talent because you've built a name for yourself. You see what I'm saying? But use what you have. Use what you have. Now, I have, like I said, I've been using this old 4-year-old phone, and I have built, so I started really building local connections, I would say in 2022, 23, when I'm honest with myself. Now, I was building, I was learning a lot in online communities, like from 2020 until now, but heavy on the online communities that weren't necessarily based here, which was a plus, because a lot that I learned about sales, marketing, about, I had a YouTube podcast show called Holy Shift that I did with my friend Alexa. I mean, I did so much that set me up to get me to this place now, where I can utilize all these skills to help you, the restaurateur, to tell your story and to have conversations. So, but I used what I had. I used my OnePlus phone to make videos and to connect with people on Instagram. I used my phone and my laptop, my HP $300 laptop I got from Walmart. I used it to build relationships with people on LinkedIn. So now I'm over 4,000 plus followers there. And I connected in with people on the community. I got hired to MC several wedding expos right here in El Paso, Texas, based on phone calls I made, because I learned through the sales. So I was making phone calls, reaching out to people locally, letting them know what I do. They connected with me on social media, followed me, and like 6 months later, saw me post at a different wedding expo and then asked me to MC. Why am I saying all this? Because it's a long game, but social media is powerful. I got paid, and I'm not even from here. I've got asked to, and I've MC'd several other things. I've gotten paid to facilitate workshops at the Chamber of Commerce. I've helped utilize, and I've helped, I've given a lot, I have given my expertise and used my connections to help other people realize some of their big dreams. And and have songs produced and performed for superstars, really, and keynote speakers. So honestly, like, I did all that with a little bit of passion, let me not say a little bit, a lot of passion, a lot of heart. My One Plus, that's 3 years old, and my 3-year old $300 laptop. I wanted to take a long time about that because you don't have to get it perfect. You just have to get it going. I heard that from Brendan Burchard, and that's such a powerful phrase. Okay. And also, waiting tables is how I met Teresa Rockwell. And I was invited. I met her last year, or maybe a little over a year ago. And I was invited to the big reveal about the Amigo Air Show here in El Paso, Texas, being reopened, because I kindled that relationship. But I met her at the restaurant, but we connected on LinkedIn and continue to build our relationship through there. So my point is that it's not just about content. I mean, it is big time about content, but it's about the relationships you're building with your employees, with your audience, with your local community. So that brings us to the next thing we're going to talk about, which is why you should vote. If you're in Texas, voting is on March the 5th. It's Super Tuesday. Now, I just recently decided to go back to school to get my associates. I only need a year, and so I just started a few weeks ago, and we're in Texas. I'm taking Texas history and U.S. history, and she moved things around so we could talk about voting, which I'm so glad she did, because that's the way a teacher should move. You know what I mean? Because she wants to make sure that enough people are registered to vote. So she's passionate. So I love learning from her, because she can't, like, those are the type of people I love to learn from. And if you are, whatever your restaurant brand or your concept is, like, you should have an environment where people are loving to learn more and more. And if you are a high-end restaurant, like, teaching your staff and really helping them to develop their wine skills and their tequila, their top shelf liquor skills, that's something you should be intentional about. And if you want to create a training program that you will be able to roll out to your employees, any new employees that you have, to take the burden off of your management. So if you wanted to create a training program that's ongoing and that keeps everyone in community and gives people the opportunity to learn and to compete for prizes for, like, people that actually do the most lessons and things like that every month, then give me a holler, because I know exactly how to help you with that. But moving forward, voting is so important. If you have a restaurant, you should want to care who is in office in every varying departments or offices, positions that are up for election. It matters on so many levels, because these are the people that are going to be upholding the law, and in certain circumstances on a local level, creating the law. So it's incredibly important that you are intentional and that you get into your community to figure out who is running for what area. And then, you don't have to, if you don't want to get involved in politics to where you're not, like, endorsing anyone, you don't have to endorse anyone, but to know, you should. And it's an opportunity for you. That's what's so exciting. It's an opportunity for you. It's an opportunity for you to build relationships. Now, this whole year is going to be a great opportunity for you to get out in your community, figure out what in my instance, what are the El Paso Democrats doing? Where are they meeting? Where are the El Paso Republicans doing? Where are they meeting? I have every right to attend all of those, and any of those, any events that the El Paso Republicans or the El Paso Democrats or whatever other parties are here running, any event that they do not welcome you there, even though you don't claim a side, that's knowledge too. that's but you deserve to be there because guess what? These are elected positions and you are paying taxes, buddy. So you have every right to be there as much as anyone else. And that is why it's such a great opportunity, a wonderful time to seize, to step into your citizenship and decide that you are going to participate and you are going to go and figure out who's running for what in your local race, whatever local races are up, and that you are going to be there and you're just going to observe. But what you'll find is that you will naturally connect with certain people. Now, if you have a restaurant, of course, people are going to, as you're talking to people, you're going to be able to let people know what you do, where your restaurant is, why you care about the East Side Republicans or the East Side Democrats, and why you care about the West Side or Central. And so, do you see what I'm saying? Makes sense. Now, and then you can go to any of them because this is your town. But definitely go where your restaurant is, to the district that your restaurant is, and check out the people that are up for office there and go participate in whatever event so you can get to know these people. You have a right as a citizen, and it's a great way to develop natural, organic relationships with people who care because those are the type of people that are going to be in these spaces. They're the type of people you want to build relationships with because they care about the city if they're going to be there. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So I'm going to move on from there. And then lastly, a great way to find out, because I asked this question of my instructor, my professor. I said, how do we find out like who the candidates are and, on for that are running for council, who are running for U.S. Senate and the House, who's running for Congress. How do we find out who's running and learn more about them? Because they don't make that extremely easy. They don't make that exactly easy. You'll be surprised when you actually. Now, what she told me, and I'm glad she reminded me because I remember seeing this a couple years ago, but I'd forgotten. It's the League of Women Voters. So you can go to League of Women Voters, and they have one across. I guess this is a national nonprofit or a national. I think it's a nonprofit. It's a national organization. Let's say that, and then they have each division. So Texas, they will have a Texas division, and they make it their point to find out who's running and to let them speak into their position. Side by side with the other people they're running against, which I think is incredibly helpful. So I highly recommend that you check out the League of Women Voters in Texas. If you have any questions or you're having trouble finding them, I hope that's what they're called. You know what? I'm just going to shoot. It's 2024. I have my phone right here. Let me see. League of Women. Yeah, so it's actually www.lwv.org. That's www.lwv.org. And what I'm going to do is, let's see, find your elected official. So you just go find your elected officials. Okay, and it's just going to ask me. Okay, this is great. It's going to ask me. I'm just doing this real time. They're asking me what my street and then my zip code, and they're going to let me know which people apply to me, which is beautiful. That's great. Women saving the day once again. Are we surprised? I'm voting for Nancy Casas for district attorney. I officially endorse her. Let's see here. Because I know her. She really cares about the community. And to me, that is super important. Okay, wait, why is it not? Okay, council member. Okay, so I guess it doesn't go all the way. Interim city manager, mayor, Oscar Leeser. Okay. Miss Laura Prine for city clerk. Okay. But yeah, as far as district attorney goes, my vote is absolutely going to Nancy Casas because she cares about the community at large. She is the hardest working person in El Paso. I see her everywhere. She literally and really actually cares about the people. I see it in how she acts. That is important to me. I want someone like that in office. I only know her because of the woman that I met waiting on her at Red Lobster, who turned out to be Teresa Rockwell, and I joined a local organization after trying out several. I joined a local organization that I felt really linked in with my mission, which they connect emerging leaders with the leadership in the El Paso at large, and which I think is amazing. And I needed that because I'm like, I want to know who's doing what and who the leaders are. And they put you right side by side with them. It was perfect. I would have never known about that organization if it wasn't for me waiting tables and being open and present and caring more about hospitality than hurrying up and turning the table and getting out of there. So that's how this all goes. This all really does come together hand in hand with being a restaurateur and hospitality. The people that are coming into your restaurant are community people. They run shift in your town. They are your government officials. They are, you know, the person that bags your groceries at the grocery store. When I worked at Red Lobster, a woman would come in there, and then we realized, I'm like, she looks so familiar. And then I realized that she's my lady at the grocery, and I love her. She's great. I love her so much. And now she's like a new friend. Every time I see her at the grocery store, I'm so happy to see her. Like, this is community. It's bigger than just turn and burn a table, And once you really get that into your heart, you will permeate that through your organization. Then everyone treats, then all of your staff, you attract people that get the bigness of your opportunity to create an incredible experience for your local community members, so they want to choose and continue to choose bringing their people there to your establishment to have better experiences. So with that, I'm out. Michelle Emtre Hollis signing off here. 5-Star Conversations in the Sun City. By the way, just letting you know that I already ordered a Samsung S24 Ultra. And so with that came this, which I don't know if you can see it. Oh man, it was okay. I think I gotta show my face a little bit. Okay. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, there we go. Okay. I got it, which is a watch, which is a Galaxy watch. So it's a Galaxy S24 Ultra. I got the Galaxy watch and I got the most recent phone because I'm going to be doing my podcast with my phone. And they sold me on the watch because they said I can start and stop my player from my watch, my video player. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to film my podcast from my phone, my brand new phone, and I'm starting there. So again, this started with start where you are. Start where you are. I came back to El Paso. I had nothing. My uncle gave me a car, and I'm just telling you this because no one is doing worse than I am. If you have a restaurant, nobody started from the bottom where I'm started when I came back here to El Paso. And if I've been able to build relationships and do meaningful things, I know I can teach you to do the same thing. And if I was able to make an impression with people with my passion, simply with a phone that I've had for 4 years now and a $300 laptop, you can too. Start now, because if you're not in business to be in business for 10 years, then what are you even doing? So start with what you have now, and you'll just continue to develop, and people will care about your heart and your passion more than how pixelated your video is, at least at first. And it's okay. You want to start slow as you're learning. You don't want to blow right up, because that's when you get trapped into doing what the algorithm says or doing what you think people want rather than actually being your authentic self. So, and all these are lessons that come with time. But my point is just tell your story. If you need help with that, you know where to find me. Uh, Michelle Emtre Hollis on Instagram. You can shoot me a DM there. I'm on TikTok, Michelle Emtre Hollis. Or you can do Michelle.instar5. That's where you're. Michelle Emtre Hollis is more my personal brand, and I'm still working this out, but Michelle Emtre Hollis is more my personal brand. Michelle.instar5 is more of my helping you to get ahead and succeed with uh, building trust on the internet to build your brand. Okay. Um, my TikTok is more of my emo, deep philosophical conversations, and a lot of my creativity. That's where I really practice that. And most of my business moving forward is going to be just working with brands that I love and I trust, and letting word of mouth speak for itself. So um, that's it. That's it for today. All right. Have a good one. Peace and blessings.